Tyson is the creator of the online community, The Serving Circle. A number of us here present are part of that. This is a tribe of spiritual entrepreneurs who find creative, heartfelt ways to collaborate and grow as one. Since 2016, it's been his mission to help online spiritual entrepreneurs, coaches, and healers create more reach, impact, and income in their business by integrating spirituality with profitable business strategies. He's also the host of the Awaken Your Business podcast, and believes that you can elevate the consciousness of the planet through spiritual business success. Tyson, welcome to the stage.
I thought I'd ask, first of all, who here is building their own business, feeling like they're following a particular calling? Show of hands. Now, who also feels like they're following their calling and there's some crazy uncomfortable emotions, fears, doubts, concerns that come up along the way? Who else is there? What the hell's happening there? If we follow a calling, if we follow our heart's desire, if we follow this divine path that the universe has sent us on, where does the fear come from? Isn't it meant to give you a sign that it's easy or comfortable? All of you are like, no, that's not how it works. Some of you know why and are figuring out why. This is what I learned as well. And I've, as Wendy said, coached plenty, like hundreds and hundreds of entrepreneurs. Many of you are in the Serving Circle, which is 2,500 members now. And all I do all day, every day is talk to spiritual entrepreneurs and figure out what works and what doesn't work, and figure out what matters most when it comes to this thing that's called your spiritual entrepreneurial journey. One of the things I realized was, hey, you can do well with some business strategies. I was started to do well about 3 years ago. I was making my first 10K months. I was in a situation of saying, I can do well online. I can do it full time. I'm doing well on social media, groups growing, engagements doing well, until it wasn't. I specifically remember a time when I was sitting in this chair. I look at my computer screen. My clients were drying up. Income was drying up. I had to give refund to some clients through crazy circumstances like brain injuries and lawsuits. All this stuff happened at once. I was sitting in this chair thinking, what the hell is going on? What I realized was all of this fear was life showing me something. So you can ask yourself the question, on your heart's journey, while you're following this calling, if you at some level are feeling uncomfortable fears, uncomfortable emotions, what's life trying to teach you? What's life trying to show you? This is what was revealed to me. All of the external circumstances started falling apart. And as it did so, I realized how attached I was to external circumstances, how attached I was to money. I needed to make money to feel safe. I needed external success and other people to perceive me as successful online for me to feel inherently enough, for me to feel loved. And I remember just sitting in this chair saying, what if the universe was throwing all of that away so I can realize who and what I am without it? So if you catch yourself having the emotional reactions to if you make money or not, or the judgment of what other people may think about you, or the level of success that you have, and that emotionally is draining some attachments from you, here's what I learned with my experience. Because I needed to make money to feel enough and to feel safe, and I needed to be perceived as successful for me to feel loved, I realized I was building my business from that energy. I was doing my marketing, my content, my messaging from the energy of please like me so I can feel loved. Please give me money so I can feel like I'm safe and protected. So instead of building my business from the energy of fear and the energy of scarcity, I decided to sit in this chair for 6 hours and just meditate in silence and be there for the side of me that was scared. Now, there was a couple things that happened. One, I welcomed the fear. I welcomed all the uncomfortable emotions and realized that they're coming up because they're coming out. They're coming up because they're ready to be seen. They're coming up because they're ready to be expressed. Now, another way of saying that is there's a side of you who's ready to be seen. There's a side of you who fears going broke. There's a side of you who fears being rejected, who fears being judged, that also needs to be seen by you. But what many people I found, including myself, were doing was instead of seeing that side of you, they would try and build a business to avoid that side of you. You would build a business to try to be successful so that you don't have to face this side of you, this fear or this side of you that has certain judgments and expectations on the world. So what happened? I sat here for 6 hours, sitting in silence, welcoming the fear, holding a loving, safe space for all of this uncertainty around money and fear of failure and all these things. And as I did so, it came up because it came out. It came up because it was ready to be expressed. And I realized there was a lot of stuff I wasn't aware of. I had sadness about past relationships. I had some wounds and traumas around my childhood that just kept coming up. But as it came up, it came out, and I started to feel this deep sense of peace. Now, what happened with this deep sense of peace is I had an insight that said, hey, if you build a community and you just fall in love with serving and the art of contributing, everything else will take care of itself. You can trust that everything will happen in divine timing. And that's where I rebranded my group to the Serving Circle, as many of you are part of. And it's been a crazy journey of just doing this full time, seeing the expansion and the growth, the incredible engagement. And of course, everything's been happening in perfect harmony, perfect timing. But some questions come for you as well. One question you can ask yourself to start this ball rolling is to say, what does your mind fear most? On the entrepreneurial journey, what does your mind fear most? Is it going broke, being judged, your mum saying she hates you? What is it? Because the sign of what your mind fears most is the inherent energy that you need to see in yourself. I noticed so many shifts from this that I started meditating 2 hours a day in silence. So Alex, I totally agree with what you're suggesting here without technology. I've been sitting in silence for 2 hours a day and just sitting there with myself, seeing what comes up. And I consistently ask myself that question, what do I fear most? As I ask myself the question, what do I fear most? I say, what emotion will that bring? Shame, embarrassment, humiliation, fear. And I give myself permission to feel that emotion. And you can give yourself to feel that emotion as well. As you feel that emotion and allow it to be expressed in your body, you'll be holding a loving, safe space for the side of you that you haven't loved unconditionally yet. Now, as you hold space for that side of you and you breathe deep and express it in your body, all of a sudden, that energy starts to leave. That energy starts to dissipate. And what's left is the version of you that remains without the fear of what happens if I go broke or be judged or not enough or whatever your fear is. My question would be, what would your business look like if you were doing your content and your marketing and your outreach and your networking and people could feel that you don't need their money, attention, their praise for you to feel inherently enough, loved, divinely safe? And what answers, what resourceful answers will flow through you with how you may serve your audience when you feel divinely safe, when you feel divinely enough, when you feel as though you've been put on this planet for something bigger than yourself, and that's what you're following. So in summary, 1, what does your mind fear most? 2, what does that emotion bring? 3, allow that emotion to be expressed in your body. And 4, once you do that, think about what's the lesson there. Who's the version of you that's left after you've felt what needs to be felt, after you be there for the side of you that needs to be seen, and what sort of business will you build because of that? Thank you.